I'm David Scandura.
I'm Justice Burkett.
And today we're here to find out, is The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, the greatest movie ever made?
God has shown you to me. And your God has damned you.
That's such a funny title.
It's
funny that that's the title.
I could sort of see you reflecting the decisions in your life that brought you to the point where you had to say the sentence, "Is The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, the greatest movie ever made?" Like, I could just see you like thinking about all the things that needed to happen to get to you to the point where you said that sentence into a microphone.
Right. I was born, and that's where everything went wrong.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And here we are. It is a funny title.
I think you and I both already know the answer to that question.
I would, yes. Right. This is another one of those episodes where we're kind of entering at the top of the episode, and it's like, you know, sometimes we play our cards close to the chest,
Yeah.
you know, like in Altered States, you know. During that conversation, neither of us is really sure what the other one's going to say about the verdict, and that's very fun. And then every once in a while you get one of these where it's like, if no one in their right mind, you know, like, it's like you gotta like, there's just like a certain level of like, all right, you're here to hear us talk about the movie. The verdict is not going to be surprising to you on this one.
It's The Conjuring 3. You know, like, no one's gonna think this is the greatest movie ever made unless this is like the first horror movie they've ever seen.
You know, I bet who loves this movie? People who make fan cams on TikTok. This is like a very like, this movie feels like designed to be watched in via YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, I mean, like the best kind of fan cam is either like for a character that doesn't really deserve it,
Right.
or just like someone who's hot.
Right.
And we got Patrick
there
Wilson
are a
and
couple
Vera Farmiga,
really
who are
hot
both
people in this movie.
gorgeous.
It's crazy that Vera Farmiga is as hot as she is in the Conjuring movies, considering they always have her dressed up like she's your fucking like she's a lady who works at your local public library. Like a lady who's significantly older than she actually is. She's dressing about 20 to 30 years older than she is. And part of that's because these movies are set in the past, right? But it's like, even for the 80s, this lady's dressing like a grandma.
Yeah.
And yet, she is still smoking hot in these movies.
There were a couple of shots where I was like, man, she can still get it, though. She can fucking get it.
I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off of this one right now. You know what is my big hear me out of this movie? The Satanist herself.
Okay.
Isla.
I was looking online, because this is not her only credit, but this is probably like her
right.
It's like her most popular movie on Letterboxd or whatever.
Most well known for this.
She is a model.
Yes, you can tell there's the shot of her when she shows up towards the end in the priest's like office, his like basement office, after Vera Farmiga like goes into the tunnels and the priest like closes the secret passageway. Then she like shows up, and there's like a shot of her like walking past the shelves and kind of like gently touching some of the occult bullshit on the shelves. And in that shot, you can kind of tell like she has model proportions. She sort of has a model walk, you know.
Yeah. Knows how to use her body.
Yes.
In very precise ways.
She also, as a very astute viewer on Letterboxd pointed out, looks like the live-action version of Mrs. Tweedy from Chicken Run.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I can see it.
And you know, like I'm Mrs. Tweedy and Chicken Run never did anything for me. The Satanist, though, can kind of get it.
Welcome to the greatest movie ever made. The show where we watch a movie and tell you if it's the greatest movie ever made.
Yeah. Sorry, I'd be hard-pressed to find a memorable line in this thing.
They don't even say The Devil Made Me Do It in the movie.
No.
So, like, what the fuck are we doing here, man?
Yeah, they do not say the Devil Made Me Do It. What we do get a lot of is, and Lorraine!
Yeah, but that's every one of these movies.
Oh, yeah. Every Conjuring movie, Patrick Wilson is just screaming Lorraine at the top of his lungs for like a good 4 to 5 minutes of the total screen time. And you know what? I don't mind it. I like seeing that guy yell that name.
A movie that is so thoroughly entertaining and compelling that while you're watching, it's the only thing that matters in the world. I'm David Scandra, joined as always by my co-host, Justice Burkett.
Yeah, that's me.
And in case you haven't figured out by now, we're talking about the third Conjuring film today.
Yes.
Because it is Halloween!
Yes! Welcome to the Halloween Horrorthon 3 Season of the Witch.
Our third Halloween Horrorthon, and for this one, we decided to do third entries only.
Yes, in horror franchises.
Yeah, in like big name horror franchises.
Yeah. And the one that we're starting with is a big name horror franchise, but it's not necessarily one of the ones that people think of right off the bat, right? Like The Conjuring is not on the Mount Rushmore of horror franchises. It's like a more recent entry in the horror franchise world, you know.
But as of its latest installment, Last Rites, which just came out a few weeks ago, it is the most financially successful horror franchise.
It sure is, because if there's one thing that a franchise helmed by James Wan does, it is make money.
Well,
between Saw and this,
true.
The dude is pretty much box office gold, you know, and he's only a producer of this one. He didn't direct it. He sure as shit didn't write it. Story credit on this one, but not the script. Yeah.
I guess he's tapped to do a Call of Cthulhu movie.
Oh, cool. Interesting.
I'm glad that's your reaction, because my reaction was, oh God, no.
I kind of like James Wan. You know, I like more of his movies than I don't like. But I don't like everything I've seen from him. I've never seen that Aquaman movie. People say that's good.
I haven't seen either of those.
Yeah. There's 2 of them.
But I'm like, if I could think of 5 other horror directors working today that could give us a better Call of Cthulhu movie.
Oh, sure. Right. James Wan's probably not the one who's going to do it best, but he is the one who's going to do it most. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, though, I am sort of bummed, because I'm like, Panos Cosmatos, what's he doing? Call that guy up. Make him do it.
Panos has a couple movies that he's working on right now.
Okay, all right.
I
just feel like a Lovecraft thing. He's such a logical fit for that based on the movies that he has made.
Yeah.
You know? It's you watch Beyond the Black Rainbow and Mandy, and you're like, yeah, this guy would fucking slay a Lovecraft adaptation.
Yeah, I still think, because Guillermo del Toro never got the chance to do his At the Mouth of the Madness.
Oh, yeah.
We're in the bad universe. We're in the dark timeline.
Yeah.
At the Mountains of Madness, excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah, he never got a chance to do that. It was one of the famous movies that never happened.
Yeah.
In the vein of a Jodorowsky's Dune or something.
Right.
But the other thing about The Conjuring that I think makes this franchise so successful is that the first 2 were good.
Well, yeah.
Good enough to let me clarify. People loved the first 2 and they made money.
Yes. Right.
And the first one is the only one that I've seen, and to its credit, I think it is a well-made horror film that I personally don't emotionally connect with at all.
Yes. Right.
So they got those 2 out of the way, and they were good. And then they started doing these branching sequels and prequels.
The Conjuring expanded universe.
Because
where you got your Annabelles, you got your nuns, you got your La Lloronas.
Yeah, because if you're a Conjuring fan, you can be like, oh, I can go see another Conjuring movie that's a spinoff.
Right.
If you're a horror fan, you can be like, ooh, I can go see Spooky Nun, Spooky Doll movie.
Right. Spooky crying lady. Sorry. The other one I mentioned was La Llorona.
Yeah, that
and
one
her shit is basically she's in water and she cries, I guess.
Well, it's the Mexican.
Yeah,
Mexican
I understand
legend.
It's folklore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, that one is in the Conjuring universe, but not connected to the Conjuring movies. So it's It's set in the same world as The Conjuring, but it's just she's not one of the entities in any of the other movies.
Right, it's like Eternals in the Marvel universe.
So I'm like,
where it's like, oh
how
yeah,
does
these
that
guys
work?
just kind of show up for this one, and then they're not really involved in any of the other shit.
We haven't talked about how we're doing yet, but
Yeah.
to wrap up this little part, this one came out during the COVID-19 pandemic in like summer, late spring of 2021, day and date on streaming, and managed to make money. It's one of the most successful films of the pandemic era.
It actually made like a pretty significant amount of money, even though it was released, like during. I mean, it was that summer of 2021 where everyone was like, the pandemic's over, and then like shit got really bad again, and we were all like, never mind, maybe this will never end.
Yeah.
But like even though it was kind of like the summer where like shit reopened, it is still crazy that it made as much money as it did. I was looking for the number, but I don't know.
It was like 20 million off of a 30 million budget, something like that.
Yeah.
Which is one of the lower grosses for the franchise overall, but still successful.
Global box office $206 million.
Yeah.
$24 million opening weekend, which is pretty nuts for summer of 2021.
Mm-hmm. And the fucked up thing I found out is because the fourth one that's out right now, it seemed like they were like, okay, this is the last one.
Right. That's what I've been hearing.
It sounds like they're doing like a Marvel Phase 1 thing.
Oh, it's Conjuring Phase 1 is what's ending. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're going to do more of those.
We're going to recast Ed and Lorraine. It's going to be them when they're older, them when they're younger, some shit. Yeah.
Because this one's made a fuck ton of money, too.
Yeah.
So
although I don't know if Patrick Wilson's ever stepping away from this shit.
I don't think Patrick Wilson ages.
Yeah.
He looks...
Sorry, one of the reasons I'm laughing is because he looks fantastic in this movie. He looks great. If you look at pictures of the actual Ed Warren, he looks like fucking he has 3 more chins than Patrick Wilson. He looks like a fucking sack of potatoes. A man-sized sack of russet potatoes is what the real Ed Warren looked like. So it's fucking hilarious that in this movie Patrick Wilson's like having fat guy heart attacks. And it's like, I do not buy this for a second. But then you see the real Ed Warren and you're like, oh yeah, that guy's heart was going. That guy was one hot dog away from fucking cardiac arrest. It makes sense now why there's a plot point in this movie. It just doesn't make sense looking at Patrick Wilson.
The biggest reaction this movie got out of me was when Patrick Wilson stands up really fast and then has a fucking heart attack like he's Tony Soprano eating too many slices of gabagool. Because that was fucking hilarious.
The real Ed Warren looked like Rodney Dangerfield.
Well, because these movies are sustained mostly on the sheer raw sexual chemistry between Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson.
That's right. I think that these movies, especially this one, would be unwatchable if Ed and Lorraine were not fucking movie stars. You know, if you did not have like magnetic movie star personas in these two roles, this is a fucking disaster.
Yeah, just two people who can be like guaranteed to overcommit to this absolute slop.
Yeah.
Which I think Patrick Wilson has made a career out of between this and the Insidious movies.
Yeah, it's so funny that like James Wan has just like bankrolled Patrick Wilson's entire life between this and Insidious. And then he's directing one of those Insidious movies. He has just made this his lane. He's just like, you need like a fucking sexy middle-aged man to hang out in a house that's being haunted by some sort of demon and wear a little cross around his neck. I am your man. Raoul from Phantom has come so far.
What's that?
Raoul from Phantom of the Opera.
Oh,
Patrick Wilson is in Phantom of the Opera, the Gerard Butler one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's the sexy love interest in that.
Okay, I know nothing about Phantom of the Opera.
Well, but Patrick Wilson's in it. He's quite good.
I know him from Watchmen.
Oh, right, of course, Night Owl.
Which he's like practically Night Owl like lifted off the comic book page
Yeah.
and put on screen.
He is good in that.
The best thing that I've ever seen him in is the show that attracts great actors and consistently manages to get their best performances out of them, which is Fargo.
I was going to say Fargo. Yeah.
Holy shit, he's incredible in Fargo.
Yeah. It is weird how everybody is like career best in Fargo. Like you watch, I still haven't seen season 3, but even in season 2, it's like Kirsten Dunst in that. I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like and I like Kirsten Dunst. I like her in a lot of stuff, but seeing her in Fargo, I'm like, I did not realize that. I was not familiar with her game. Like I did not know she had this in her.
Yeah, that consistently happens on Fargo.
Yeah.
Like season 3, Ewan McGregor playing a dual role, career best work.
Yeah.
And then Mary Elizabeth Winstead is like,
I love her.
I did not. You're our greatest living actress, and I did not know this based on Final Destination 3 and Sky High.
She is the best protagonist in any Final Destination movie, though. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, easily probably the only good actor to ever anchor one of those films.
Okay, we're getting off track.
Yeah.
How are you doing? And then we'll talk about the movie.
I'm doing good. I have had a pretty good week. I watched a lot of movies this week, and that made me happy because, we have a movie podcast. People know I enjoy viewing a film.
But you're not always like watching movies during the week.
I'm not always super on top of it because I got a lot of other shit going on, and finding a couple hours to carve out to watch a movie doesn't always happen. But this week it has happened a lot. Rewatched some favorites of mine, and also my media recommendation is a horror thriller from a couple years ago called Red Rooms. It's a French-Canadian movie from Montreal. And I had heard a lot of buzz about this movie and really wanted to watch it, and carved out the time this week, sat down and watched it, and holy fucking shit, what a good movie. Easily, it's probably my favorite movie released in 2023 now. I would have to think about that, but it probably is. Super up my alley, an evil film through and through. A bad time. So like if you're going to take my recommendation and watch Red Rooms, like I really think you should, because it's incredible, but also just like be prepared to be like really bummed out because it is like it's not a good time.
Yeah. I remember hearing a lot of buzz about it too, and I think we got a release in the US on Shudder last year.
Yeah, 2024, yeah.
So I had meant to watch it before we did our best of 2024 episode, but I didn't get around to it because I watched a lot of movies last year and just fell through the cracks.
Yeah, well, you should check out Red Rooms. It
I
is
will.
Good as shit. It is, it's one of the best thrillers that I have seen that's been released in the 21st century, I think. Which probably feels like high praise, but it's like I really don't think I'm hyping it up too much. I think if you watch that movie, you'll get it. David, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I had a weird week and just like a couple really, really bad days for no fucking reason. But today's been good. I don't know that I have anything to recommend. I've been going through Godzilla movies again.
Yeah, I've been seeing that on your Letterboxd. Yeah,
I watched 3 Godzilla movies in the last 2 days.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Watch a Godzilla. Go watch a Godzilla film. Watch a good one. Don't watch the Roland Emmerich one. It's hard to have a bad time when Gojira's around, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He will immediately lift your spirits.
And if you've never seen that original one, watch it and then listen to our episode on.
Yeah.
But also just watch it because it's great.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
So nothing really else to recommend, but I'm doing okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry you're not doing better than okay, but I'm also glad that you have enjoyed Big Lizard. No big lizards in The Conjuring. The devil made me do it.
No, move over, Big Lizard. Time to talk about Big Devil.
Yes.
The Satan himself.
I sort of wish that, like, more like Insidious, that you like saw more demons in these movies, in the Conjuring movies. Because when you see shit in the Conjuring movies, it's usually just an actor with like gray makeup.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm like, I don't know, like in Insidious, you got that Darth Maul looking fuck, you know? It's
Darth
like,
Maul guy's cool.
yeah, it's like sort of more visually interesting. I kind of feel like the devil made me do it. We're at the third entry in this Conjuring franchise. I feel like if you slipped in just the classic Red Devil with like horns and hooves and shit, that would be welcome at this point in the franchise.
Yeah.
You know?
So,
or at least like a Pazuzu face. You know? Like
we have a few ones that are like close to Pazuzu face in this.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It's definitely this movie is definitely borrowing from The Exorcist.
Yeah, you'll fucking think.
One of the things I like about this movie, David.
Yeah, talk to me about Conjuring.
So
you're Conjuring boy.
And I picked this movie for this month. So the Conjuring as a whole is not a franchise that I have like a strong relationship with. I've seen 4 Conjuring verse movies. I've seen the first 2 of these, this one that we're talking about today. So these 3 Conjuring movies, and then I've also seen The Nun. And the Podmaster and I, High Priestess Pod and I, have a relationship with the first 3 Conjuring movies that can be best described as like we have like sort of a well-meaning, sort of like a positive disdain for these things. Like we're sort of like, these all are kind of trash and we don't really think they're good horror movies, but also like they're just so comforting. There is something about like the Conjuring aesthetic that, like, to me, this is like, I think this is my equivalent of like, you know, dads who just like put on like war movies to chill out on a Sunday afternoon. I think that's what this is for me.
Or westerns.
Right.
Or it's like, Granddad, what western do you have on? It's like, I don't know, John Wayne's in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is what the Conjuring movies are for me. And you can bet your fucking ass that when The Conjuring Last Rites is available on streaming, because I am not paying full ticket price to see this in a theater. I don't like it that much. But once it's available on streaming, I will be sitting my ass down with a cozy blanket and a beverage that's either a warm tea or something lightly alcoholic, and taking a fucking nap to Last Rites on a Sunday afternoon. That is going to be happening in my near future.
That's one thing I could say about this film, is you could definitely take a nap to it.
Brother, I did in the viewing for the podcast, and then I had to watch the end of it again today because I had fallen asleep. And like, I think everything I like about the Conjuring movies is unintentional on the part of the filmmakers, because I like how these things are kind of like slow and sleepy, and I also like how the jump scares are like obvious and telegraphed enough that they're not gonna like, you know, disturb my nap at all. You know, it's like and just the aesthetic of these things, like the visuals in all the Conjuring movies are so like autumnal and cozy to me, where like anytime I'm seeing like a poorly lit house in a Conjuring movie with like dusty shelves and lit by candles, I'm just like, ooh, I just want to take a nap on that dusty sofa so bad. There is something very like soothing to me about these movies, which I think is not what they're going for at all. But it is what I like about them. And part of that is also like Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, who just make me feel so comfortable in these movies.
Yeah.
Because they seem like they like really have these performances locked in. They really have this shit handled, you know? And it's like always compelling to watch them. So if I wake up from my nap and I see Patrick Wilson, I'm like, oh, look at that guy.
Yeah.
Look at him doing his thing.
They fit the aesthetic and the vibe very well.
Yeah.
Like one of the scenes at the Warren house, they have like the big oversized wooden spoon and oversized wooden fork on the wall in their kitchen, and I'm like, yeah, outside of these fucking movies, they seem like the couple that would have that shit.
Right. They're like live, laugh, love ass people, and then their basement is full of haunted artifacts. Yeah. It's, I don't know, like one of the things I like so much about this one specifically is that this movie kind of doesn't know how to stick to the plot. It just kind of meanders.
Oh, yeah.
I like how this one just kind of wanders off course, and then you're like, wait, isn't there like a guy in jail who was like possessed or something? We got to get back to him, and then it's like it feels a little bit like, I know you've never seen The Changeling, but it feels very like in line with like The Changeling or like The Omen, right? Where like most of the movie we're kind of doing loose investigation.
No, what I was going to say is this reminds me of a movie that we might be talking about during this month, which is The Exorcist 3.
Right.
Where like we're abandoning the kind of supernatural horror aspect a little bit, and it's more of a procedural.
Yeah, we're like solving a mystery.
Yeah. Which I think is like an interesting premise for the third Conjuring film, because the first two are haunted house.
Yeah, the first one's a haunted house, and the second one is haunted house, but in England.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's not do a third one that's a haunted house. Let's do something different, and that would be, that's a great premise. I wish they made that movie. I wish that was this movie.
The execution is a little lacking, perhaps. But this is my favorite of the first three Conjuring movies to watch, which feels insane to say. And to some people, that's blasphemy, because like a lot of people, like you said, think that those first two are genuinely like really good horror movies. I don't. I think that both of the first two are pretty formulaic and are relying very heavily on their influences. And like when I'm watching the first two Conjuring movies, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying like sitting in the vibes and stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, if I want to watch a good haunted house movie, I'll watch The Exorcist or fucking Poltergeist or some shit.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna watch this. I'm watching this because I am not willing to pay enough attention to watch a good movie.
Yeah, the first Conjuring is like primo Halloween party viewing.
Yeah,
like you're not really paying attention. You're carving a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Someone's getting fucking drunk, bobbing for apples or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
You can watch the Conjuring. Conjuring 3 is like everyone's like passed out drunk,
right?
And a couple of your friends are still up, so it's like we've watched like 4 movies tonight. Let's just put on Conjuring 3.
I like this movie the most of the first 3. I don't even think I would rate it the highest on like a 1 to 5 like Letterboxd type scale. I think this one would be rated lower than the first 2, but I like it the most because it just like it just kind of like wanders, and like by the time you get to the third act, you sort of have just been bathing in this for like an hour and a half, and you're like, I don't even really know what's going on anymore, and I kind of don't care, like we're underground.
It's so
there's a Satanist altar. I guess she's the daughter of the priest. That was explained like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's so
and it
like,
seems important, but the movie's not treating it as important.
It's so po-faced and predictable.
Yeah,
but if you don't care, it's like, okay, so I should have seen that fucking Denethor is the father of the Satanist,
right?
But I haven't been caring about this movie the whole time, so I guess it's like a surprise.
It's a movie that almost actively discourages you from paying full attention to it, and I think that's why it's my favorite of the first 3, because it does feel like it is like so specifically calculated to make you like forget what you've watched as soon as you've watched it. And I think that that's just like a very silly thing for a horror movie to do.
Yeah.
I like this movie because it's dumb. That's ultimately what it comes down to.
Sure.
I like it because it's dumb.
I think that's a fair thing to say.
And the first time I watched this movie, I was like, oh, it's dumb on purpose. It's the third entry in a horror franchise, and it knows what it is. And that's why we're doing all this silly shit with like Lorraine Warren falling like doing the literal cliffhanger thing where she like slides off the edge of the cliff and fucking Ed Warren has to catch her at the last second, and it's very silly and like looks bad. And I'm like, oh, they're doing this because they know what this is. They know that it's the third entry in a horror franchise, and this is where things have to get a little bit more ridiculous because we've already done everything. And then watching it this time, I was like, I was wrong the first time.
No.
This movie does not know what it is.
No.
And that kind of doesn't make me like it any less. Like the fact that it's an accident I'm sort of more endeared to it, where I'm like, oh, they're actually trying, and then they just ended up with trash. You know, I don't know. I like it. It's my stupid little movie that I
That's
like.
fine. We all have them.
Yeah.
I have Hellraiser 2. You
Yeah.
have this.
Right. Yeah.
So this is, of course, based on the real case.
Yeah.
From the files of Ed and Lorraine Warren, as they love to say.
Yes, the quote-unquote real case.
There was a real trial.
Right.
I don't think I think like the basic premise of this is all pretty close to what actually was, actually happened, or at least claimed in that trial.
Right.
And then the whole adventure that the movie goes on, it seems like that's a fabrication.
It's pretty much all made up.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's the thing with like the Warrens,
Yeah,
right?
like
Which is like it's all fake.
They're snake oil salesmen and charlatans. Like,
yes,
they
are
lied.
grifters,
But
who
at least what's
preyed
recorded-
upon vulnerable people
Yeah.
to make a lucrative living. Yes,
At least what's recorded is accurate to this film, where they
Right.
were treating a young kid who
For
was
possession, yeah.
for possession, and then the demonic entity entered his older brother, and
and his and that guy, the brother. I think it's like the brother of. I think it's his girlfriend's brother,
Right.
Or something. Yeah. But regardless, like then that guy kills somebody,
yeah,
and then his defense in court is I was possessed by a demon.
right,
And it's very funny that like it's very funny that in real life the court threw out that defense. It was inadmissible in court. They were like, okay, we're not accepting the demonic possession thing. This movie treats it as if it like got him off. Like it's like, oh, he only served 5 years for manslaughter. And it's like, yeah, but in real life he only served 5 years for manslaughter, and the demonic possession defense was not part of that.
Yeah.
They threw it out.
yeah. You get to the end of the movie and they've defeated the Satanist, and it's like, oh yay, okay, the movie's over. Wait, none of this is going to be admissible in a court of law. And the movie doesn't even. The movie has a scene, but there is literally no dialogue. The kid stands up for sentencing, looks back at the Warrens, and then we get text describing what happened. It's like,
Right.
yeah, he was found guilty of manslaughter.
Yeah, he
and
served
5 years.
Served 5 years and then got out, and he got married to his girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. A thing that I just want to say, like, I was about to say up top. We are 30 minutes into the podcast, but a thing that I want to say now, and not harp on more, is like, it is so exploitative and gross and reprehensible that this movie exists. Like it's like very fucked up that like a guy killed another guy and was like, I don't know, I was possessed by a demon, right? And like that is like a big budget horror movie in a major like horror franchise. And like the Warrens are fucking monsters. In addition to all of the grifting, Ed Warren was a sexual predator who groomed an underage girl. So like these are like bad people. They're like total monsters. We do not endorse them, you know? And yet, right? It's like you can't escape the Conjuring's place in the current horror canon, even though it's like literally just based on like bullshit from a couple of hucksters, you know? It's like, this is, for better or worse, this is one of the defining franchises of modern horror.
Right.
You know? And like, yeah, so like it sucks that like a real crime was actually committed and this silly like fucking jump scare horror movie is like drawing from that. Like that's gross and bad. But it's like, I don't know, man, like horror has always trafficked in like, we're pulling a little bit from this real thing and maybe it's uncomfortable if you really look into it, you know? Like the first Texas Chainsaw is a little bit based on Ed Gein, and you know, so you know, true crime and horror have always kind of like gone hand in hand.
This
like
is the
that.
same thing we were dealing with last week with Pain and Gain.
True. It is kind of funny that like this does feel a little bit like a good pairing with Pain and Gain, where it's like, oh yeah, this is the fraudulent account of a fucking grifter. who committed a bunch of
It's gonna be a hell of a
crimes.
double feature. One of them you nap in, and the other one you just like
Yeah.
snort coke and experience.
Yeah.
You just get pain and gain
You watch
pumped into
Pain
your
and-
eyeballs for
Yeah.
2 hours.
You watch Pain and Gain first, you get completely burnt out, and then as soon as The Devil Made Me Do It starts, you just take the best nap of your life. Anyway. So, yeah, The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. There is no 3. It's just The Conjuring : The Devil Made Me Do It.
right.
I think the first 10 minutes of this movie, which is the possession of David, the little boy, is some of the best stuff in this movie. And it really is like every time I rewatch this movie, I'm always like pretty giddy in this first bit just because it like goes so insane so fast, which most of the time other Conjuring verse movies don't do. Like usually there's like a ramp up
Right.
before shit starts going crazy. And I love that in this one it's like, no, we're dropping you right in.
We
like,
are
we're, yeah.
in media res, as they say.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little surprised at how intense this opening was, because the other thing I heard about this movie, was that it was procedural, and then a big focus of the movie was the trial.
Yeah.
And I was like, are we about to have like it? And it seemed like this was going to happen when we have like a trial scene at the very beginning of the movie, where I'm like, are we just going to watch a trial for 2 fucking hours? And then the creators are clearly like, nah, that'd be boring as shit. We have to make up a fake horror movie.
Nah, yeah.
So
we're barely at that trial.
I was a little surprised at how hard this opening went, and was interested to see if the movie would try to keep up that level of intensity, which
Nope,
does not.
No,
It abandons
this
it
is-
entirely.
This is 1 hour of snooze fest, bookended by like 10 minutes and 30 minutes of shit actually happening. Like there's 10 minutes, or I guess there's like 20 minutes at the beginning and about 20 minutes at the end.
Yeah.
Of like shit happening. And then just an hour in the middle of just like I guess the Warrens remembering how they met. And
Oh,
this
God.
Fucking gazebo and shit.
God. When they three-peat the gazebo.
As if anyone gives a shit.
It's like practically a post-credit scene. It's one of those fake out mid-credit scenes.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he's gonna lead her to a fucking and he built a gazebo.
Right,
right.
we've been seeing flashbacks of a couple of actors that they hired to just be young Ed and Lorraine for no reason at a gazebo. Yeah. But in this opening, so like we're in the middle of this exorcism we haven't really started the exorcism. They're sort of doing a pre-exorcism thing where like Ed is reading the Bible with the family and being like, this will help like ward shit off until the exorcist gets here.
Yeah.
Basically. And this kid whose name I think is Julian Hilliard, he's the kid from The Haunting of Hill House and Color Out of Space. So this kid just can't catch a fucking break. Between this movie, Haunting of Hill House on Netflix, and the Color Out of Space, this kid is just like he's fucking Demon Chow.
Apparently,
he's a ghost magnet. This kid
apparently has a credit for the new one too.
Oh wow, okay.
I don't know in what context, but
I think I did hear a thing about the potential spoilers for The Conjuring Last Rites. I think I might know why he's in that movie, because I did hear that at the end of the movie is the Warren's daughter's wedding, and a bunch of their previous clients just show up for the wedding like it's the Avengers.
like the fucking funeral in Avengers.
Which is fucking stupid.
Oh god, that's fucking awesome. Oh, that's rad as
Yeah,
shit.
they just bring back like all the previously possessed people. And be like, watch my daughter get married. Yeah.
But you brought up the kid.
Yeah.
My first good thing I have to say about this movie, which is a relatively short list.
Right.
Good kid.
Yes, Julian Hilliard is great. I don't know if I'm saying that name right. I should check E.T.'s research, because E.T. is back doing research. Welcome back, E.T.
Welcome back.
Thank you for coming back and doing research. Let me actually use your research. And I was saying Julian Hilliard right. because I had looked at ET's research before. Yeah, this kid is great. He's so good in The Haunting of Hill House too. Like all the kids in Haunting of Hill House are great. Like that show's packed full of great child performances, but he really stood out to me. And same in Colorado Space. Have you seen Colorado Space?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it a couple times.
Man, some real fucked up shit happens to him in that movie. By comparison, he's having a great time in The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. At least he's not having to deal with body horror and his dad Nick Cage going insane.
Yeah, he has a pretty rough start to this movie. Then the rest of the time, he's just like
he's fine.
Yeah, hanging out. He's doing well post possession.
I do like when he is talking to Arnie when he's in jail. And Arnie's possessed now, and it's like two addicts talking to each other where he's like, yeah, man, I know what it's like having that demon inside you. It's fucking crazy, dude. Like, it's like this kid's seen some shit, and he's like, yeah, it's so cold, and you feel so alone, but you're never alone.
That scene is funny because his girlfriend is like, are you okay? I'm worried about you. And he's like, I'm just tired. And this guy looks pale as a sheet, and his eyes are so sunken.
Right. He has like corpse makeup.
He looks like
he's clearly possessed by a demon.
he looks like Jared Leto at the end of Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah. He looks like shit, and she's like, "Are you okay?"
Like the demon is the least of his problems now that he's become addicted to heroin.
One of the biggest laughs in this movie for me every time is when, like, towards the end of the movie, when Arnie is going full demon mode in the like prison hospital bed, right? That he's like handcuffed to. And he's like writhing around, his back is like fucking cracking, and like his, spine's inverted and shit. And the priest is like saying the Lord's Prayer over and over, but then the girlfriend is also there, and she's just next to him going, "It's okay, Arnie, it's okay." You're okay. And I'm like, he's roaring like a lion. Like, this guy is clearly full of demons. And she's like, "It's fine, baby. It's fine. You're going to be good." I don't know necessarily that I would do anything more productive in that situation, but it is hilarious to see this girl just being like, "It's okay. It's all right. Don't worry about it." While he's doing fucking circus contortionist shit.
It's just like the girl you meet in the club that holds your hair back while you throw it into the toilet.
Yeah. She's like, "Oh, baby, you have too much to drink. Here, eat this fucking slice of Wonder Bread. It'll soak up the alcohol in your stomach or whatever."
So the priest shows up, and we do the shot from The Exorcist, but slightly different. And my eyes rolled back into my fucking skull.
The audacity of the third Conjuring movie to repeat a shot from the best demon possession movie ever made. It floors me every time. I'm like, the fucking balls on this movie to be like, "Hey, you've seen The Exorcist? Yeah, that's us."
Okay, so here, I actually was going to ask you this.
Yeah.
How well does like possession and exorcism horror work for you as
a guy who's scared of the devil?
As someone who was raised Christian.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, the thing is, I wasn't raised Catholic.
Right.
And I feel like this stuff always kind of hits harder for Catholics because in the like American Protestant tradition, I feel like demon possession is like never really like a big thing. It's like, yeah, we learn about it in like Sunday school. There's the Bible story about like Jesus casting out legion into the pigs and stuff, and I like learned all that stuff. But it was never a thing where I like grew up like hearing about like exorcisms and stuff like as being a real thing. I was taught that like demons are real, but it's like I just sort of feel like the way that I was sort of educated in the faith was always like, yeah, demons are real, and they like kind of like make you sin, right? So if you like log onto a porn site and jerk off, like a demon was over your shoulder making you do that type of shit, as opposed to like entering your body, making your eyes turn yellow and like making you levitate around
I think
the room.
if I gave that excuse to my mom, she'd slap the shit out of me. It wasn't me that Googled Raven Teen Titans Rule 34. It was Satan, mommy.
The demon made me Google girls kissing. and then go on the images tab. Yeah. Yeah, so like I just feel like this stuff was always kind of more like metaphysical rather than like interacting with the real world for me.
Right.
As the way that I was educated in the Christian faith. So like possession horror doesn't really hit any harder for me than any other type of supernatural horror, right? I believe in like energy and stuff. We've kind of talked about like how I'm a little like woo spiritual whatever. So there is some stuff in like ghost movies and haunting movies where I do get a little spooked. But I wouldn't say demons do it more than ghosts. I would say it's about even.
Okay.
You know. Yeah. And neither of them scare me as much as the idea of like just like a guy coming into my house with a knife. You know, like Michael Myers is the scariest thing. Cuz it's like, oh yeah, that's just like a flesh and blood like dude, you know.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Did demons have any specific effect on
As
you
a-
as someone who was raised Catholic?
As a recovering Catholic?
Yeah.
No.
You're right, cuz you don't believe in it.
No.
Yeah.
And like it was never a thing that we talked about. You
Yeah.
know, the Catholic Church is pretty famous for trying to cover up their practicing of exorcisms and stuff like that.
That's true. They don't love the association.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of like the Catholic authorities have really distanced themselves from the Warrens, even pre-Conjuring movie franchise. They were like, yeah, what those people are doing, that does not have anything to do with what we're doing. you
Yeah.
know?
and as far as like exorcism movies even being like a genre of horror that I like, you know, there's really two of them, and that's The Exorcist, and then the other one has Russell Crowe on a Vespa.
You got a problem with me, you take it up with my boss, the Pope.
You know what? Both the priests in this movie doing the exorcisms suck ass.
Yeah.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
Put Russell Crowe in there, we would have had this demon problem cleared up right away.
The priest who's in the prison with Arnie, I started in my head and in my notes calling the cuck priest and the reason that he became the cuck priest to me is because after Arnie commits the murder and he's in jail for the first time, he's like in the room where like the Warrens are visiting with him and getting information about the crime. And this priest is just hanging out in the corner of the room doing nothing. The Warrens are running the whole like demon debrief thing. And then this priest is just like there because he's like, oh yeah, well, of course, a representative from the church has to be here for like paperwork reasons. But he's not doing shit. Like Patrick Wilson's doing all the talking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they should at least get this guy a cuck chair so that he can sit down because he's just kind of standing there uncomfortably and not saying shit. And then at the end, he's the one doing the exorcism on Arnie that is totally ineffectual. It does nothing. Like, the thing that breaks the curse is fucking Ed Warren swinging that sledgehammer. So this dude is, like, adding no value to this movie.
That whole scene starts with Arnie starting to, like, convulse and foam at the mouth and do the exorcism thing. And he... And he looks over to his girlfriend and he's like, so should I go? And she's like, yeah, you should fucking go.
Right. It's like
this is the start of the exorcism
this
part.
Priest is waiting for a cue to start doing an exorcism from the possessed guy's girlfriend. Yeah. I feel like neither of the priests really have the juice in this movie.
No.
That one guy, the one guy who repeats the the exorcist shot and is like the main priest in the early exorcism, is very clearly supposed to be a Max von Sydow in the Exorcist type. They cast a guy who looks and sounds like him, but he just doesn't have it.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
and Patrick Wilson is even still doing like most of the exorcism stuff in this scene.
Yeah. Ed Warren, for a guy who has no authority to actually perform an exorcism. He's not an ordained minister. He doesn't belong to like the Catholic hierarchy. He's just like a dude. He really like takes over their territory a lot of the time. He like comes in and is like, "This is my exorcism now." Me and my sideburns are going to cast this demon out. I'm sorry. I have a little bit more experience than, an ordained priest. Have you seen my basement? There's so much haunted shit down there.
It's somehow scarier that the real Annabelle doll is just a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And then like I guess the current owner of it recently died too.
Yeah. Well, they were taking her on tour. Yeah, they were taking Annabelle on tour, and he died in like a hotel room on the Annabelle tour, which is pretty wild. Keep that Raggedy Ann away from me. I don't want that juju.
Yeah. So we have the exorcism scene here. Great acting from this kid writhing around.
Yeah. The moment where he like twists himself into a pretzel is great.
Yeah.
And before the exorcism starts, there's like the shower blood thing.
Mhm.
That's like one of the good moments in this movie, I think. There's a few like scares in this that I think are like relatively competent, and the shower blood thing really works for me because he's like hiding in the shower, and then he looks up at like the shower curtain rod, and there's like a hand on the shower curtain rod
that was okay.
really slowly like disappears, and then the faucet turns on and starts spraying blood on him, and it's like it's pretty decent, you know. But yeah, I like him going full fucking like Reagan McNeil on this table where he's like roaring and like convulsing and shit.
Yeah.
And when he twists his body up and like fucking screams like a baboon, it's it's fun, you know. It's all the classic exorcism stuff you want.
Yeah. I've got shitty CGI, so his face is like burnt, like boiling and stuff like that.
Also shitty CGI of just like this like demon tornado that the house gets caught up in, and it's just like bad CGI background, like dust flying through the air and shit.
Yeah, it's classic Conjuring stuff, I think. Like it's one of the other the previous movies in like a little 15-minute sequence.
Yeah.
You got shit like plates flying everywhere and crap.
But yeah, so like this sequence ends with Arnie doing literally the thing from the end of The Exorcist. It's like it's such a blatant ripoff that I almost respect it. Where he's like the line of dialogue is basically verbatim the take me, you know, that whole shit. So yeah, he takes the demon into him. They even do the same thing with the eyes, where you see the possessed eyes leave the possessed person's face and then show up in the person who's saying "take me." It's really egregious.
Yeah, and then it's funny because like we spend the next 20 minutes and no one. I was like, why is no one checking in on Arnie?
I know, like he takes the demon.
He shouts out, take me," and like only Patrick Wilson hears him and he falls into a coma because...
That's the logic of the movie, is that only Patrick Wilson noticed this happen, but it's like a bunch of other people are in the room. Also, one assumes the little kid David would remember that.
Yeah, because he can remember, like, he can remember everything else about when he was a demon.
Yeah, so, like, he's not warning anybody, like, hey, like, the demon went out of me and into him. Like, which in the real story apparently is a thing that kid said.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess he's tight-lipped or whatever. He's just like, oh yeah. Like, after the murder happens, he's like, well, that, you know, weird that he killed somebody, because now that you mention it, the demon did go out of me and went into him when he screamed, "Take me." But yeah, we're just kind of hanging out for a little bit. We see that Arnie and his girlfriend are living in their landlord's house, which is also a dog kennel.
Yeah.
That's real. That's from the real story, which is why it seems so strange, is because it's based on a real thing.
Yeah, this guy has weird vibes.
I sort of like Bruno. He has weird vibes, but I sort of like him.
Yeah.
They did change this guy's name for the movie. That's not the real guy's name. They changed it to Bruno for the movie, presumably because they were not going to depict him in a very flattering way. But it's like, the movie's telling you that he's kind of a scumbag, right? And then I'm watching what he's doing, and I'm like, I kind of think this guy rules. Because basically, like, the big bad thing he does right before he gets murdered is like, Arnie comes home early from work because there's like, I don't know, there's an incident at work because he's possessed, so he's like not feeling all right. So he comes home, and then Bruno's like, hey, my man, you're home early. Let's fucking turn on the record player and get drunk as shit, right? And like the movie treats this as like, oh, can you believe this Bruno guy? He's like peer pressuring Arnie into drinking and shit. And I'm like, I don't know, man. What we've learned about Bruno is he's letting this couple stay at his house rent-free. And when his homie, who he is letting live in his house, shows up early from work on a weekday. His immediate response is, let's put on records and knock back a few beers. I'm like, I kind of think this guy's a great friend. This is like, and maybe it's just the character that I relate to the most in the movie.
Yeah. Do you know the scariest actually the scariest thing in this movie?
Yeah.
Is this guy has an Elton John Victim of Love poster on his wall, or the actual record, which was Elton John's disco album.
Yes. Yeah.
No one had that shit on their wall in the 80s.
This guy's music taste is unhinged, yeah. He's like, I like disco, but only when the whitest man in music does it.
And I guess in the actual case, this what happens during the murder sequence is pretty similar, where like he was dancing with Arnie's girlfriend and Arnie stabbed him.
Yeah.
And to me, the explanation is very, very clear as to what actually happened here.
Right.
This guy saw someone dancing with his girlfriend and he stabbed it.
Right. And he was also drunk as shit, right? Which, like, his initial defense when the cops first picked him up, he didn't say any of the demon shit right away. What he said was, I got super drunk and killed someone, right? And so it's like, yeah, what actually happened is, like, this guy got plastered, saw his landlord dancing with his girlfriend, got jealous, and killed him, right? And it's like, it's pretty open and shut. So, you know, does this story need to be a movie? Probably not. But yeah, what happens in the movie, though, is the Warrens' version of events, which is like Arnie is heroically resisting the peer pressure to knock back a few cold ones. And is also simultaneously fighting a demonic curse, right? That causes him to see Bruno as like a monster demon version of him, and sees him like attacking his girlfriend instead of dancing with her or whatever.
Yeah.
The thing that I do want to give this movie some legitimate, unironic praise for this sequence, because I sort of think the sequence when Arnie gets home and Bruno's drinking and putting on the records, and it like goes into the murder, is actually like pretty well executed. This sequence I like. It's one of the only sequences of the movie that I'm like, this I think is like legitimately well put together and is pretty effective. Because like Bruno is like being really like loud and boisterous, and it's kind of throwing Arnie off, and the way that the movie is like quick cutting and like kind of the way that the frame is like blurred around the edges is like showing like Arnie's kind of like frantic state, you know? And then like when he starts seeing Bruno as like a demon monster guy, there's like the cool moment when Arnie like runs down the hall, and then the like there's the red light pulsing at the end of the hall as the fucking whatever that song is, call me, come on, call me anytime.
Yeah, then they
That
play a slow version of it to try to make it scary.
right, which works less well.
No,
but I like the red light pulsing at the end of the hall, and then the lights going out, and the long hold on the dark hallway before Demon Bruno runs out. That shit, I'm like, okay, that works, you know? And it's sort of it's visually interesting. It doesn't really look like a lot of the other stuff in the Conjuring movies because of like the red neon light is like a little bit of a different artistic choice.
Okay.
I am sort of a fan of this sequence unironically. You know, it's one of the only like legitimately good parts of this movie to me.
Yeah, I mean the only card that this movie really has is showing someone's perspective as reality is warping around them, and
right,
and they're being possessed by a demon or interacting with something demonic. It happens to Patrick Wilson, it happens to Vera Farmiga, happens to Arnie, and there are moments where it's visually interesting, or we shift perspectives so we see things from that character's perspective and like the stuff that they're hallucinating, and then we see it from another character's perspective and we see what's actually happening. Like when Vera Farmiga's acting out stabbing the girls in the flashback. And like there are parts of that are like, yeah, it's kind of it's almost something. I just don't think that any of the moments are really visually compelling enough to leave a huge impact on me.
Yeah.
But they're like they're executed okay for what this is, I think.
Yeah. The other one that I'm a little impressed by, where I'm like, okay, all right, Conjuring 3, like you did something there, is in the scene that you were just talking about where Vera Farmiga like has the vision of the girl who murdered the other girl while she was possessed. And there's like the high angle shot that like drops down, and as the camera drops down, it transitions from the daytime forest to night as she's going from the real world into like the vision. And like that shot, I'm always kind of like, okay, that's something.
Yeah.
You know?
I think at the end of the movie when we're running through the tunnels and Vera Farmiga sees a doppelganger of herself in front of her that mirrors
that moment's
her.
all right.
That moment's okay.
Yeah.
That's probably the standout moment for me.
Yeah. It also really, really reminded me, because we watched it so recently, of Star Wars The Last Jedi, when Rey has like all the the mirrors of herself. I was like, oh yeah, it's The Last Jedi.
But this does seem like something they did in camera, though.
Right.
Like it seems like they got a double.
Yes. Yeah.
To mirror her movements.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
That moment is pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like, one cool moment for every 40 minutes of runtime in this movie. But yeah, so yeah, Arnie kills Bruno, and the cop picks him up, and he's like all covered in blood, and he obviously is immediately arrested. So then we start the fucking court procedural kind of corner of this movie that we'll revisit like a couple more times, but it really is not the focus of the movie. There's all the funny shit here to me is all the shit with the lawyer, the defense attorney for Arnie, who's like, the Warrens like come to his defense attorney and are like, hey, you have to like make the plea that he's not guilty by reason of demonic possession. And she's like, it's 1980. You guys are fucking insane. Like, that's never going to fly. And they're like, well, come to our house and meet Annabelle and you might change your mind. And then it just like smash cuts to her in court looking like she's seen some shit. Which it's so stupid. It's like so ridiculous. And I kind of love it. That she's just like been shell-shocked by seeing the fucking Warrens' basement of oddities. And so suddenly she's like a true believer,
Yeah, it's fucking stupid as shit.
It's dumb. But yeah, so then she puts in the plea. She's like, not guilty by reason of demonic possession or whatever. And that's basically all you see of the trial until like way later.
Yeah. I'd love to see Robert Duvall from The Judge preside over this case.
Yeah.
And do one of his stand-up bits.
Yeah.
On the stand.
Yeah, just fucking roasting this lawyer for saying demons are real. Yeah. I was thinking about The Judge watching this movie because, like, I think The Judge is a worse movie than this, but I think both of them kind of similarly are just, like, totally miscalculated. Like, what they're trying to do, they just miss entirely and just end up somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, like, you could maybe make an interesting true crime legal thriller about this case.
Yeah.
But it's clear that that's not a Conjuring movie.
I think you could kind of even make an interesting fictionalized version of this based on this case about a guy who is possessed by a demon and commits a murder.
Right.
Which is what this movie kind of ostensibly is. But then we just spend so much time focused on the Warrens and their relationship and their backstory. And then we take the weird detour to the murdered girls in the other county or whatever. And it's just like, this movie doesn't have the focus to actually be about what it is ostensibly about.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about The Judge because I think this is like the one of the only other movies that we've watched that takes place in a courtroom for any stretch of time.
That's true. Yeah. Can you imagine if Billy Bob Thornton was the prosecutor in this case?
No, I was imagining if RDJ was the prosecuting attorney,
or if RDJ was the defense attorney and he had to go see Annabelle.
Yeah, and he's just pissing on someone in the bathroom.
Yeah.
My brother watched that recently.
Yeah.
Based on my recommendation, I guess we'll call it. And he was like, I think you oversold it. Like, I was just kind of bored by it, and it was just like bad and boring. And I'm like, true, but also the movie starts with Robert Downey Jr. pissing on someone.
Yeah, it's bad and boring until you stop to think about what's happening for 1 second, and then you realize you're watching the most insane shit you've ever seen in your life.
Right. You realize that you're watching two of our greatest actors slipping and sliding in poo-poo.
Yes, or Jeremy Strong doing maybe the most offensive performance of all time.
Welcome back to the show, Vera Farmiga, by the way.
Yeah, right. She's also in The Judge.
This is her second appearance.
She's better in this than she is in The Judge.
Oh, yeah. We are in full agreement on that one, buddy.
Yeah.
I think every performance in this movie is better than any other performances in The Judge.
Even the cuck priest.
Yeah.
Even the cuck priest is better
He's
than...
doing a very good job of being a cuck priest.
He's better than the cuck in The Judge, which is, of course, Dak Shepard. Yeah, so the Warrens go back to the family of the kid, and they're basically like, hey, clearly some demon shit is up. Let's try and figure out if we can get to the bottom of it. We will also send you an invoice for this at a future point. They never get into the billing in the Conjuring movies, but the Warrens were charging these people.
Yeah, I'm wondering what that looked like. Are they charging by the hour?
Yeah. It's like, oh well, this is actually, we thought we were just dealing with a ghost, a haunting situation. Turns out what you have is a satanic curse. That's really gonna cost you. Those standard haunting where it's just a ghost, we're looking at $200-300. Satanic curses, that's tricky. It's gonna be $4,000 or $5,000.
We do have a special going on right now for our exorcism package, but it is a 2-for-1 kind of deal. So
you know what?
Is anyone else in this house possessed by the devil? Perhaps
you're in luck. We just happened to find another witch's totem. Turns out we can give you the 2-for-1 deal. So really, you're saving money. Which is what happens here. They find the witch's totem. There's the flashback to how the kid got possessed.
Yes.
Yeah.
The haunted waterbed. I was like, I am sitting on my couch watching James Wan presents the haunted waterbed.
It's like not great. It's not a very scary sequence.
That's where I was like, I was trying to figure out while watching this. I was like, is this gonna be fun, or are they gonna be playing this like, straight and serious?
Yeah.
And when we get to the haunted waterbed, I'm like, no, they're trying to make this shit actually scary.
Yeah.
And it's not working because a waterbed has never been scary.
Waterbeds are ridiculous, patently ridiculous.
It did make me, harken back to a time when that was a thing that people had.
Yeah. Remember when people were like, what if I have a giant sack full of fluid just on a bed frame? That's a good idea, right? Nothing bad can possibly happen.
I wanted one of those when I was a kid.
Yeah, I feel like every kid thinks a waterbed is cool.
That and a lava lamp. I got the lava lamp.
Yeah, not the waterbed.
Not the waterbed.
Because, if you poke a hole in a waterbed, that's a huge fucking mess.
Yeah.
As we see in this scene.
Yeah. I think a waterbed has only been effectively used in a horror movie in one of the Nightmare on Elm Street sequels, and I don't remember which one it is. And it's because it's the dumbest shit ever.
Right.
And the movie knows it.
The movie treats it like it's dumb shit.
Yeah. The kid drowns in his waterbed. Somehow he ends up in his waterbed and drowns, which is fucking funny as shit.
The Nightmare on Elm Street franchise does have a long and glorious history of shit happening in beds. Like mattresses being...
Yeah, even evil mattresses.
The first one
yeah.
has that happen twice. Because it's like the fucking Johnny Depp kill, which is the very famous one. But then there's also the thing where there's like fucking... It doesn't Freddy like come out of the mattress at the end? It doesn't matter.
He probably does.
I mean,
that is a horror franchise predicated on the premise of people being killed while they're dreaming.
That's true.
So.
And where do you dream if not your mattress?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a demon in his waterbed.
It's fucking stupid as shit.
Yeah, big hand pops out, and then his family comes in, and they're like, "Oh, the waterbed's leaking," and he's like, "A demon tried to grab me," and they're like, "Okay, that's weird. Better call some grifters to." deal with it.
But I better call these two guys who I read in the paper about.
Yeah. And Ed Warren shows up. He's like, "Oh, haunted waterbed." Well, then that's gonna be an extra $50 for the waterbed, just because we've seen a few of these cases before, and they're always more complicated. Got to give you the waterbed upcharge. Yeah. So they find the witch's totem in the crawl space underneath, where the bed was. And they're like, okay, so your family has been cursed, which is how the kid got possessed. Because it's like, oh, normally you have to invite a demon in, but the time that doesn't apply is apparently if someone puts together a bunch of sticks and bones and sticks it under your floorboard.
Yeah.
Then the demon can get into you without your permission.
And they had Arnie read from the Bible and had like a crucifix there. So they were like, if he was still possessed, he wouldn't have been able to read from the Bible.
Yeah.
It would have set the demon off.
And it's like, well, the demon left him after it committed the murder because it's a curse, so it doesn't behave the same way.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a Satanist pulling the strings, right, behind the scenes, which is what we learn here.
Yeah. And this sort of has pretensions of being a Satanic Panic movie.
Oh,
which is like another level of this that I think is kind of gross and offensive. Is like we're treating the Satanic Panic as a real, actual thing that people should have been scared of.
Yes, which of course it isn't and wasn't. E.T. in our research did also call this out. And rightfully so, because the Satanic Panic was a big thing in the 70s and 80s, but boy, oh boy, is it having a resurgence in the 21st century. There's a lot of Satanic Panic shit currently happening. And I did want to read verbatim some of the stuff that E.T. wrote in the research because I thought it was funny and well written. Director Michael Chaves states in the making of video that Satanism was on the rise during the 1980s and that, quote, satanic deaths and murders, end quote, were not just occurring, but there were a lot of them if you look it up. In actual fact, that's bullshit. Satanic Panic was on the rise, as it is again today, but actual Satanism as a conspiratorial and deadly religion of sexual perversion and demonic summoning running rampant through America has sadly never occurred. Though it seems the Conjuring team has fully bought into their own hokum. Obviously, Satanism is a religion, but it's not the same Satanism as is being described. And according to their website, the mission of the Satanic Temple is to encourage benevolence and empathy, reject tyrannical authority, advocate practical common sense, oppose injustice, and undertake noble pursuits.
Sound like a bunch of pussies to me.
The Church of Satan, the Church of Satan, the other Satanism group, founded by Anton LaVey, was/is an atheistic organization devoid of any worship to any deity, even Satan. So thank you, E.T. You're right. E.T. is 100% correct there. This is all bullshit. There have never been deistic Satanists that have like organized a campaign of violence against anyone. Yeah. That has never happened.
And like a Satanic Panic horror movie, I think it's not something I'm opposed to. Mm-hmm. But we have to treat it through the lens of like something satirical or doing something fun with it.
Yeah.
Because we all know that the Satanic Panic was bullshit unless you're a fucking unless you're fucking ignorant.
Yeah. And the reason that I read E.T.'s great quote about it is like, I think it's important for us to acknowledge that this is harmful, like that Satanic Panic is a harmful narrative, because ultimately what it is used for is to reinforce conservative ideology, right? It's like the whole point of causing a Satanic Panic is to get people to revert to tradition and ignore progressive ideas, right? It's fascistic, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's important for us to like, we can have a fun time with this dumb movie, but it's also important for us to be like, but the ideology that is sort of being espoused here is like inherently harmful. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And this movie is treating it seriously.
Yes.
I think to this movie's credit, it doesn't take it too far.
No.
At no point does this feel like, you know, God's Not Dead, the horror movie.
No.
It does. It never feels like Christian propaganda. But the fact that we're like, we're already dealing with the Warrens and trying to glorify and fictionalize their real life exploits and grifts that
Yeah.
harmed people,
Yeah.
and then adding a Satanic Panic level to that
Yeah.
is just like, it's kind of unfortunate and like bums me out.
Yeah. It does have icky overtones
Yeah.
for sure. Anyway, so yeah, they find this witch's totem, and they're basically like, oh, like, we need to figure out what this is. Who can possibly tell us more about this witch artifact? Oh, it turns out that there's a conveniently nearby retired priest who is an expert on occultism.
Yeah, and they also send out photos of it to other police
right.
stations or police precincts around the area to see if anyone has come across something like this before. But before we do that, we do go to Minas Tirith to meet Denethor.
Yes, we do see Denethor. What's that actor's name?
John Noble.
John Noble is the guy who plays
Great
Denethor.
actor.
You know what's very funny about John Noble to me in this movie? His dye job. Because this is a dude who 1000% has white hair. And he is just like dyeing it this like chestnut, like dark brown. And ultimately what it is so that he looks more like Isla, who is supposed to be his daughter. Like, his hair is dyed the same color as her, so that when it's revealed that she's his daughter, you're like, oh yeah, right? But it's so funny seeing this dude who is clearly, like, naturally has no pigment in his hair anymore. Like, that shit is like 10 years gone, you know? And he's just got this dye, he's rocking this dye job, and I was like, no way in hell, you are not fooling me, John Noble.
Yeah. He also can't help but smile a little bit in every line of his dialogue, to the point when he's talking about the lawyer who prosecuted like this satanic cult case a few years ago. His wife had a child and the baby was born with the heart outside of his body, and then she killed herself 3 months later. He's got like a little glint in his smile as he's talking about that.
Right. It really sets up, like, later in the movie, it's revealed that he's like been withholding information, and he really could have helped them solve all this shit earlier. It's like, when you look back at the earlier scene, you're like, yeah, that guy was acting very suspicious. He's acting weird as shit.
Yeah.
Where he's like, oh yes, I have kept all of these occult artifacts instead of destroying them because I'm so interested.
'Cause reasons.
I figured they would be safer continuing to exist but locked in my basement than if I destroyed them, you see.
Sometimes I come down here and just jerk off in this chair.
And eat a bunch of cherry tomatoes and let the juice dribble down my chin.
Sing me a song, Ed Warren.
Ed Warren does sing a song in The Conjuring too. There is a musical interlude where he plays the guitar and sings a song.
I think Patrick Wilson collaborated with Ghost
he
for
did.
a song in one of the Insidious.
I think Insidious the Red Door, the
that
one
he
he directed.
Yeah.
He did collab with Tobias Forge.
Yeah, fucking
of Ghost.
rock god Patrick Wilson.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
Awesome.
Hey, I told you he's in Phantom of the Opera. The dude has pipes. He can sing.
I guess so.
But yeah, so yeah, they visit creepy John Noble, and he's like, here's my basement full of occult artifacts. And Vera Farmiga is like, Lorraine Warren is very much like, I don't want to go down there. She feels the bad juju or whatever. But down there, there's like a witch totem that like looks the same or whatever that he's found before. And he's like, I know exactly what this is.
Yeah.
It's the work of a master Satanist, which is, it's so funny to me that they keep calling her like a master Satanist, or like she's like a Satanist who has like reached the highest level of Satanist.
Yeah, like what's the like a master Catholic?
In real life, a master Satanist is a guy who hangs out at your local tabletop RPG store with his fucking his suitcase full of painted Warhammer models. That's
Right.
a real master Satanist.
Right.
He's like a guy who like has a side business where he fixes classic video game systems. It's like, you need an SNES repaired? Call up an actual master Satanist.
Right.
He'll be able to do that for you. They're nerds is what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
They're very. It's really funny. Have you seen the documentary Hail Satan ?
I have not.
It's a documentary on the Satanic Temple, which I think is actually a really, really great documentary and shows the way that this organization functions as like an activist group and also a support group for people who are LGBT or outcasts or have neurodivergence. And it is funny when they have interviews with actual Satanists, and it's like, yeah, this is fucking Blorgoth the Destroyer, and he's just like a guy that works at your local convenience store.
Right.
But then they all have silly names, and they look like nerds.
Yeah. They're just like, they're people who have been harmed by religion and so have adopted spicy atheism.
Right.
That's what real
that's
Satanists
really
are.
what that's really what Satanism is.
Right. It's atheism for guys who want to get a goth girlfriend. But yeah, so then after that they get a call from like the other police precinct in like the other county or whatever.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, there are these missing girls, and we found like a totem that's like what you have been looking for in our town or whatever. So they like drive out to talk to this cop. This guy, I don't know this actor, but the guy who's the cop in the other town, I do like this performance.
Yeah, he's good.
Because he's very much like Ed and Lorraine show up and he's like, all right, what's your fucking grift? Like, he like clocks them, and they eventually win him over. But for a while, he's like, this is fucking horseshit. I don't believe anything you people are saying. You're wasting my time. But you know what? I was bored on a Wednesday, so let's fucking do this.
Yeah.
Like, tell me about whatever visions you're having.
When they're driving out to the murder site, Lorraine they have music on the radio, and Lorraine's like, oh yeah, I met Elvis once. And he's like, when he was alive or when he was dead? And she's like, once when he was alive and when he was dead. And Patrick Wilson is just smirking to himself.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is Ed's function in all of this? Like, what are Ed's qualifications? And I've seen the first one, and maybe they mention it. I don't care. I don't remember. But he is really just a guy tagging along and yes-anding his spooky wife's bullshit.
He's just a guy with a psychic wife. Right? he's like her manager. It's like, oh, you want to use my psychic wife's services? Well, I'll crack open my my little book here that has itemized, fucking amounts for how much that's gonna cost. Yeah, he's just like, she's the talent and he's the management.
Yeah, yeah.
And also I guess he can also do an exorcism even though he has no credentials.
I mean by that I could do an exorcism. Like,
that's
what makes him special?
I think based on what movies have shown us, doing an exorcism is pretty easy. You need a cross, and then you need to just read some stuff out of the Bible.
Say the Lord's Prayer a bunch.
Yeah, and just read the Bible, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm pretty sure I could exorcise a demon.
Yeah.
If anyone was possessed right now, I'm pretty sure I could handle it. Because it's like, yeah, grab a Bible, grab a cross, you're good to go. Demons hate when you read the Bible. They really don't like it.
Yeah.
So they drive into the woods where the girl's body was found, who was murdered, in relation to this witch totem. And Vera Farmiga has like a vision where she sees herself as the girl who's possessed, stabbing the other girl. This scene's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
It is funny though, because this is a moment in this movie, like this whole sequence where they go to this other town for this related murder. It does feel like the movie has fully just gotten off track, and we're just like doing a different mystery now.
Yeah, I was like, so is this gonna matter? No.
No.
Okay, cool, great.
No, we just
cool.
needed to pad the runtime a little bit. We needed to add 20 minutes to make this feature length. Yeah. And she fucking a spooky hand grabs her ankle and tries to pull her off a cliff.
It's very funny to imagine like being Patrick Wilson and he's hobbling around on a cane for most of this movie because of the heart attack at the beginning. To just watch your wife do this and then she just fucking books it through the woods.
Yeah. And he's like about to jump off a cliff into a reservoir. Yeah. Oh shit! The vision took over. She's possessed. She's gonna try and kill herself. Don't worry, it's happened before. Also, it's very funny that this movie has like official Warren blessing. I think Lorraine Warren I don't know if she's still alive.
No, they're both dead.
They're both dead. But was she alive when they were making this one? I don't remember. Regardless, some member of the Warren family, like the daughter or something, had involvement on.
It looks like Lorraine. So Ed died in 2006, and Lorraine
Okay.
died in 2019.
Okay, and this one came out in 2019, right? Or no, it came out in 2021. Duh.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, I know Lorraine Warren had some involvement on the first Conjuring movie, and that like people connected to the Warrens or connected to the stories that are being told in this movies are like continuously brought on as consultants, right? So it's just very funny to me that like people who were actually connected to this gave the thumbs up to the 2 times in this movie that Ed Warren almost murders his own wife. It happens twice. Because here he saves her on the cliff. But then later, there's the moment where he almost stabs her with the knife. And then at the end of the movie, he almost kills her with a hammer. And it's just so funny to me to think of their daughter, like, watching the movie and being like, yep, that's my dad. He did try to kill my mom those 2 times. But it was the devil. Don't worry about it. My real dad would never try and kill my mom, but Satan possessing his body as a corporeal puppet did draw a knife on my mom one time.
But he was
and then try and
definitely.
smash her with a huge sledgehammer.
But he was definitely a child predator.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. He did groom an underage girl.
Yeah.
That is, you can look into that. You can
Yeah.
you can do your Googling.
Spooky.
So spooky
Spookier than
statutory rape.
Spookier than anything they have in their basement.
So they come to the reservoir. They find the dead body because Lorraine Warren led them to the spot. It is funny that like when this happened in this movie, when she like goes to the cliff and it's like clear that that's where the girl jumped in the reservoir or whatever, and then she tells the cop to like search the reservoir. For half a second I was like, are you fucking telling me, movie, that this police department did not search the reservoir near the murder scene for the other missing girl? Because that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. And then in the next scene, the movie knows you're thinking that, and the cop is like, oh, it's so weird, we raked that reservoir twice and we never found anything.
And he's like, the only reason we were able to do it a third time is because of you. And I'm like, I got to imagine that phone call
Right.
where he's calling the mayor and he's like, yeah, so we got to go through the reservoir again.
Yeah, a psychic
psychic
lady.
lady.
She told me she met Elvis before and after he was dead, and also she thinks that there's a dead body in the reservoir. So, like, we got to get the boats out there, get the chopper. I know it's expensive, but a psychic lady told me, and her rates are very reasonable. Yeah. So then they go back to the main mystery now that the side quest is over, right?
Yeah. This movie has chronic the audience is falling asleep, so we have to insert a jump scare
The audience sure is falling asleep.
every 15 minutes. Because Arnie's starting to have visions while he's in prison.
Right.
We somewhere in here we have the scene of him talking to his girlfriend and then David, where he and David are talking about what it's like to be possessed by a demon.
Right.
And the demon is telling Arnie to kill himself. So that's like that's going to be important later.
Yes. It is funny that like that's the demon's end game with Arnie. It's not to have him like do more murders. It's like, nah, dude, just like kill yourself so I can go back to hell.
Yeah.
Seems to be the thing. Because it only needs one more soul, right? And it's like, well, the easiest person for me to kill is the guy whose body I'm in. I guess.
I think somewhere in here, Ed makes the connection that that's what's
right.
happening, is that the demon is going to move on.
Yeah.
After he's killed himself.
Yeah, and Lorraine also has like a psychic connection to the Satanist. She keeps like seeing the Satanist.
Yeah.
And so she's also picking up on some of this stuff too, where she like knows that the Satanist is kind of pulling the strings. She also knows that the Satanist is trying to get Arnie to kill himself. It's all like she can kind of see into all of it.
Yeah, and I think the next big sequence here is they go to the morgue because the
Yes.
girl's body has been identified positively.
Yes, and so basically Lorraine is like, when I touched David, the kid, while he was possessed, I could like make a connection with the Satanist, and I like saw some shit. So in order to like get more information, I need to touch somebody else who's been possessed, which is like the dead girl.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, they go to the morgue. The Warrens break into a morgue. Ed Warren smashes the door with his cane to like get them into the closed mortuary. They break into a mortuary to touch a dead body, that's like at least 4 crimes. After this all wraps up, they should stand trial for what they have done, because you can't just break into you can't break into a morgue and start holding dead bodies' hands. That's not allowed.
Yeah, and at the end of this movie, they're in a house with 2 dead bodies in them.
Right. Right. They have been present for the deaths of 2 people. And the cops are just kind of like, oh, I understand you were solving some kind of paranormal mystery here. Nothing more to see. Move along.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you know that I was in this movie?
Are you talking about the fat zombie?
Yeah.
This guy looks worse than you, to be fair. You look better than this fat zombie. But I also understand what you mean. This does look like you if you were dead and waterlogged.
This was my favorite character. Is
I like fat zombie.
the dead fat metalhead in this movie.
Yeah.
He comes back. I was so excited that he came back.
Return of fat zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, because basically
He's kind of like the nun of this movie.
he is. He's like the main scary guy
Yeah.
in this movie. Yeah. Right, because like they break into the morgue to touch the dead body. And like when Lorraine makes a connection with the dead body, she starts seeing the Satanist, but the Satanist can also see her. So then the Satanist like retaliates by like reanimating one of the bodies in the morgue to attack them. And it is just this guy who looks like he's like the guy from Metalocalypse.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get his movie in phase 2.
Oh yeah, fat guy zombie Conjuring phase 2. We're gonna have 3 entries in the fat guy zombie franchise.
Right.
Spin-off. Yeah, so like this fat zombie attacks Ed, but they I don't remember how this scene fully goes down. I just remember that the fat guy zombie doesn't end up doing all that much. Oh, he fucking that's what it is. Lorraine stops holding hands with the corpse, and that severs the connection. So this dude, this corpse just like fucking, his head just beams the fucking table, and he just like hits the ground like a sack of potatoes.
Right.
Yeah.
During this, Arnie is attempting suicide with the glass bottle of holy water that the priest gave him while
priest
he's
gave him
on
some holy
suicide watch.
Yeah.
Which, again, priests in this movie fucking suck. They're so dumb.
Yeah, so he like breaks the bottle of holy water and like goes to cut his wrist with it. But the connection's severed, so he stops being possessed or whatever.
Yeah.
And then so then the Warrens like go back to the house of the family that of Arnie, who they've been working with, and kind of fill them in on everything. And they also have this guy who I think is in the other movies too, who's just like their employee.
I thought
just
he
like
was...
a guy who works for them.
Yeah, I thought he was their son at one point, but I was like, no, I don't know who this guy was. I think he's just like their intern.
Right.
He's just interning with the Warrens.
Yeah. He's like, I'm getting college credit to follow these
getting
fucking psychos around.
Unpaid internship. Because, they're not paying him.
Oh, absolutely not. They're like, yeah, sorry, Dylan. Money's really tight. We have, Lorraine's, special diet that she's on to boost her psychic powers just really takes a lot out of the old checkbook. So
she has to buy a lot of antique old lady dresses.
Yeah. Oh man, her brooch budget through the roof. You would not believe how much this lady's spending on brooches. But yeah, so they there's a little bit of like fucking mystery solving shit here where they're like figuring out that like all of the witch crimes that have happened are actually really close together, and like even though the girl is from another county, she like went to college nearby, so it's actually like more localized than they thought. And also around here is where like Ed wakes up in the middle of the night and has like a vision of fat guy zombie like in the house.
Yeah,
And-
because
right.
this is when he passes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I actually I kind of like this scene. This is one of the
Me
better
too.
scenes, I think,
Me too.
because he sees the Satanist in the house, and they like have a conversation.
Yeah.
And you think that it's like real and happening, but really what's happening is he's having a hallucination.
Yeah.
Um,
And she like vanishes like in like a puff of smoke or something.
yeah, and he's he comes out of it and he realizes that he was about to stab Lorraine.
Yes. Right. The first of 2 times that he almost murders his own wife in this movie.
Which I think was like a decent twist
Yeah.
to end this sequence.
Yeah. I like this scene fine. I think it's like one of the better sequences in this portion of the movie for sure. I also do want to say that I was looking for the actress's name, but I can't find it. Whoever the actress is who plays Isla, the Satanist, I do think she just also does like a pretty good performance in this movie. And
Yeah.
one of the things I like about like when we get later into this movie is you just get more of her. And I do appreciate, because in the first 2 Conjuring movies, it's like ghosts and shit, and you don't really get that much in terms of villain performance in those movies, because mostly it's like jump scares and creepy demon faces, and they don't really say that much usually. In The Conjuring 2, you get like one moment with the ghost where he sort of explains himself, and then the rest of it is kind of just like haunted house shit. And I kind of like that there's like a human antagonist that anchors the last bit of this movie who's pretty compelling. Like, I think this performance is pretty good. I think she's scary, and I think she's like interesting for this universe. So that is kind of a positive that I wanted to throw in.
I think you're right. I think it's a good performance. I think visually they shoot her very well.
Yeah.
You get lots of her in shadows, and like also like close-ups on her mouth and like the lower half of her face as she's doing these rituals and stuff. Yeah, I think she's cool. I just have issues with like the character's writing.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't really have any motive.
No.
And the backstory is, kind of something that John Noble just completely glosses over.
The backstory is sort of laughably thin.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like he is a priest, so he had a vow of celibacy. He broke it. He had a kid. The mother died in childbirth. And he raised this daughter while he was continuing his research into the occult. And she just like got into occult shit. And he didn't do anything about it because he loves his daughter, I guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And so it's basically just like John Noble being like, my daughter, she's too goth. She got into typo negative and slasher movies, and she's never been the same since, Is sort of the vibe of it.
Right.
Where he's like, I was trying to raise a good Christian girl, and
I
instead
showed
she
her
has, like,
the
this-
craft when she was 6, and that's where it all went wrong.
She has a lesbian haircut and wears all black. I don't know where I went wrong.
But like, I don't need her to have a super
No.
detailed, thorough backstory or explain her motives in a big dramatic exposition scene or anything. But like, I would like a little more than what the movie gives us, especially because she is a human villain as
Yeah.
opposed to just a spooky ghost in a house.
The actress's name is Eugenie Bondurant, which is just a great name. Eugenie Bondurant. But yeah,
I'm glad you have fun saying that.
Yeah.
That's a fun word for you to say.
Eugenie. I didn't realize there was a feminized version of the name Eugene.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Eugenie. Anyway, so yeah, they figure out that the place where the occultist probably is headquartered is like by the specific train track near the river, and immediately they're like, oh yeah, that's like close to the priest's house, where we were, John Noble's house from earlier.
Yeah.
So Vera Farmiga goes to John Noble's house to check shit out. She actually goes there before they figure that out. She's going there to ask him a follow-up question or something.
Yeah, and Ed and the assistant, I think Lorraine's there too. They find the totem.
Right.
That they've been cursed, that someone sent flowers to their
Oh,
house,
that's
and the
right.
flowers are dead.
Right.
They break open the vase, and there's a totem in there, so they've been cursed too. So
Yeah. So she goes to like talk to him, and
Yeah.
then like Ed figures out that that's probably where the occultist is. So then he's like following her there. Lorraine gets there.
following her in his Camaro SS.
That's right. You know, turns out
When you charge people out the ass
Yeah.
and you grift them, you
Yeah.
can buy a Camaro, I guess.
Yeah, turns out ghost busting, pretty good grift. Yeah. Yeah, they're making bank. Those hospital bills aren't cheap either, but you know, he's making it work.
Yeah.
But she gets there, she talks to John Noble, he reveals like, yeah, my goth daughter has gone rogue. And it turns out she's just been living under his house the whole time, which this is one of the moments of the movie where I'm like, if you're watching this casually and you're just accepting the movie on its own terms, this might not strike you as insane as it is, because what the reveal is like the antagonist of this movie has been his daughter the whole time, and she lives in a secret network of tunnels under his house.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, she's probably down there. She always loved going down in those
So
tunnels.
is he leaving
Like,
food out?
Right.
Like,
right. Right. And it seems like he doesn't even, it seems like the way it's written, he's not even sure that's where she is. He's just like, well, if she's anywhere, she's probably in the labyrinthine network of tunnels under my house.
Because the confrontation they have, it seems like they haven't seen each other in a while.
Right.
And based on this, it's like, I don't know, she could be like, you know, visiting the fridge every midnight
Right.
to have a snack.
It's crazy for your occultist daughter to be living under your house without your knowledge. That's fucking insane.
I do think we need to explore this premise further.
Yes.
I think we need to get Zach Kreger on this.
Right. I really wish way more of this movie was about this lady living under this guy's house. Like, I want to see her sneaking up to the fridge for a midnight snack, you know? I really need more information about how this whole situation is working.
Dear, could you keep the music down? It reverberates and echoes through the tunnels when I'm trying to sleep.
I swear to God, if I hear one more Bauhaus song, I'm going to lose it.
You're 45 years old. It's time to move out.
You know, when I said this goth thing was just a phase, I accept it. I was wrong. Will you please get an apartment?
The wrong kid died, and I mean Boromir. Wait, this isn't that movie.
Yeah. So then Vera Farmiga goes into the tunnels to look for the occultist's altar, because she learns that we got to break the altar to break the curse.
Right, and Ed is like the third person for the curse to be completed.
Right, the demon needs 3 souls. It's
Yeah.
already gotten 2. Yeah, and so then the Satanist shows up and kills John Noble with a throat slash, which is fine. This movie doesn't really have kills. It's pretty much just Bruno and this guy. But you know, it's an okay moment where she kind of teleports behind him and slashes his throat.
Yeah.
And so then basically for the rest of the movie we're in the tunnels, right? Because like this is where Vera Farmiga's down there with the occultist, and like that mirror effect that we called out earlier happens. And like just reality's getting twisted down there because the occultist is like messing with reality. And then Ed shows up and he goes down into the tunnels too, because he hears Lorraine yelling down there. So he goes down there with like the sledgehammer, and she blows some Satan dust in his face. It is very funny to me that she basically just does the pocket dust thing.
Yeah.
Like from a kung fu movie. It blows dust in his eyes and it makes him possessed.
Well, then
It turns him into Jack Nicholson at the end of The Shining.
Then we're doing Jack Torrance.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Lorraine!
Yes. It's so...
I'm gonna get you, Lorraine!
It's so The Shining that it's, again, like, offensively... Like, it's so clearly a ripoff, just like all the Exorcist stuff. It is very much like, I'm just gonna bash your brains in.
What I do like is Patrick Wilson is so charming and likable. He just seems that way as a human being.
Yeah.
That whenever a movie can find a way to corrupt that and
Yeah.
make him a little bit scary, I like it. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen In the Tall Grass, which
I
is
have not.
It's a piece of shit movie. But at the end of that movie, he has a villain turn where he's possessed.
Yeah.
And it's the same sort of thing where, like, it's really cool to see this guy kind of get the chance to play something darker.
Yeah. I like the whole possessed Ed thing. It's kind of fun. He's swinging the sledgehammer around.
Yeah.
We're taking chunks out of walls and stuff. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, visually it's lit well. I like the sequence in the tunnels just because it's like
Yeah.
I will say throughout this movie, I think there are times where the visual aesthetic and like the color grading feels a little fake to me. It feels a little like it looks like every other movie that's being released nowadays,
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
like Netflix
It's just a
crime
little too
show.
desaturated and too gray.
Yeah. But like the actual sets that they're in, you know, the Warren house, the like, you know, John Noble's
His
office
occult basement.
of
Yeah.
occult objects and stuff. All that stuff I think is like really like good locations.
Yeah, I agree. I think the locations and like the set design, the production design of this movie is like all right, and I think that's like consistent across Conjuring entries. Even The Nun, which is a movie that I fucking hate. I really did not enjoy that first Nun movie. Even that, it's like the costume design, the production design, the set design, like it's good. You like and it's these movies always kind of have an aesthetic, a consistency that I admire.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're he's possessed, he's chasing her through the tunnels, and she eventually just gets him back by being like, "Remember our love."
Remember the gazebo?
Yes.
Yeah. Because we
And
have to repeat the gazebo.
Yeah. And it brings him back, and then he smashes the Satanist altar with the sledgehammer.
While all this was happening, Arnie was fully
Levitating.
being possessed and levitating, and
And his girlfriend's like, "Arnie, stop! Calm down!"
She's in this movie way too much.
Yeah, the girlfriend.
She's way too invested in this guy.
She also, the actress who plays the girlfriend, looks a little bit like the actress who plays their daughter. And to the point where I was like, is the daughter in the movie more than just the one scene where Ed's in the hospital? And the answer is no. She is in one scene of this movie.
Do they have a daughter in the other movies? Because
Yes.
I literally don't remember.
Here's the thing. Okay, this is my favorite thing about the first three Conjuring movies. Yes, they do. The daughter is in every of the first three movies, and clearly is also in Last Rites, because I guess it ends on her wedding. And it is the same actress in 1, 2, and 3. So she's like growing up in these movies.
Okay.
And in every single movie, she has like one scene. And I'm like, it is so fucking funny to me that in these movies that, again, have like the blessing of the Warren estate, it's like, oh yeah, and our daughter was there for like 2 minutes of this.
I hope she makes $1 million off of each of these.
The actress,
I hope
right?
I hope she gets paid to be in these.
Yeah, it's so funny.
So well.
It's so funny to me that like each Conjuring movie has one scene where they're like, "Oh shit, I forgot that the Warrens have a daughter." Anyway, and then just like drop this character entirely. She is the character that is the most like not in this franchise. Like she does not really appear in these movies, despite appearing in these movies.
Well, phase 2.
Yeah, it's all gonna be this.
It's gonna be, you know, the Warrens are gonna die in Conjuring 5.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a passing of the torch legacy sequel.
Right, and it's the Jessica Warren show from then on, yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Judy Warren. Judy Warren is her name.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's always so funny to me how little them having a kid matters.
What's she up to during all this? Is she just like some fucking latchkey kid?
This
that's
is the thing.
home?
I'm like, do they have like a nanny? But like, there's a moment in one of, I think it's the first Conjuring movie, when like the Warrens like realize that she's at home with Annabelle, and shit's about to go bad, and so they have to like go home and rescue their daughter. And I think in that first one she's like 8 or something, and it seems like she's just being left home to fend for herself.
Well, because
in a house full of haunted demon objects.
Because takes place in 81.
Yeah.
Is the first one in the 60s?
I think it might be. Yeah. Or the 70s. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what's going on with this kid. I don't know if anyone's looking after her. Maybe there's like a grandparent situation. Who knows? We never find out. Yeah. Because she's, again, not in these movies.
So yeah, Arnie was gonna slit his throat with the piece of glass, and he's floating in the air, and Patrick Wilson saves the day by smashing the altar.
Yeah, and the slow-mo shot of the altar kind of falling apart is like all right.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I kind of liked that.
Another moment that I kind of like is like after that, the Satanist comes in and is like brandishing a knife at them, and Patrick Wilson's like, "Hey, like you didn't finish your job, you know, like the demon wanted 3 souls and there's still 1 missing." And then like her like arms like contort and like go behind her back, and then like a demon doppelganger of her shows up and like fucking like snaps her neck. That moment I always am kind of like, I don't know, I think that's all right.
I would like it if we got to see a demon with red horns and a pointy tail.
Yes, it would have been
give
better.
me a real demon rather
You're
than
right.
just doing a doppelganger thing.
You're right.
Yeah, because we've done that face. We've done spooky version of real person with scary face,
pointy
like
teeth. Yeah,
5 times. In this movie.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah,
this is where you really want like a guy showing up with hooves and a pitchfork. You know, but yeah, and then like that's basically the end of the movie.
Yeah,
because like 2 things happen after this, which is we see Arnie get sentenced for manslaughter. And then Ed shows Lorraine the gazebo that he built her, and like end of movie.
Yeah,
and
over the credits we get real photos of the Warrens and,
right.
and stuff from the case, and then we hear the actual audio of the demon possession at the beginning of the movie, the exorcism, which doesn't do anything. Like I thought it was gonna be cool, but it's just kind of nothing.
Nah, yeah, because it turns out these people are liars, and so their evidence is not all that compelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the 3rd Conjuring movie.
Yeah.
That's Conjuring, the Conjuring, the devil made me do it.
Made me do it. The devil made me pick this as our first movie of Halloween Horrorthon 3 Season of the Witch.
Movie studios or like movie studios really don't think about, when they title these movies, they don't think about someone going up to the box office of their local theater and saying, 1 ticket for The Conjuring, the devil made me do it, please.
Yeah, really, you just gotta give audiences a 3, right? Because even if it's The Conjuring 3, the devil made me do it, then the person buying the ticket can just say 1 for The Conjuring 3, please. Right? But it's like, you can't, eliminating the number and making people say the subtitle is humiliating.
Yeah, because I'm just going to say
one for the Conjuring movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 1 for the Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah. David, I'm going to ask you, because I had seen this movie before.
Okay.
I'm going to make you go first. Is The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, the greatest movie ever made?
Justice.
Yeah.
This might shock you.
Yeah.
No.
What?
Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It is not the greatest movie ever made.
Are you possessed? Is that why you're saying that? That doesn't sound like the David I know.
No, this movie sucks ass.
Yeah, it's not good.
It is a benign bad movie.
Yeah.
It is not aggressively bad.
Right.
You're not gonna, contemplate hurting yourself while watching The Conjuring 3.
Right. This is not going to make you lose faith in humanity the same way that American Psycho 2 does.
Yeah. Yeah. So like you could do a lot worse, but this movie's boring as shit and it sucks.
Yeah.
Like, and I hate calling a movie boring. I think that's such an overused criticism, but sometimes you just have to say it. Like this movie is boring. It has an interesting premise that it never fully commits to exploring, and it just kind of falls back onto like every few minutes we're gonna throw a cheap jump scare at the audience to make sure that they're awake.
Yeah.
Um,
And I wasn't, even in spite of the jump scares.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the visual aesthetics and the period setting work for me. But it never becomes a movie that I really feel like sitting in and enjoying its world.
Yeah.
Or its characters. I think what's really holding this movie up and this franchise up, is just the performances from Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, who are really overcommitting to this.
Oh, yeah.
And God bless them for doing it, because someone has to, I guess. John Noble's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to have fun to have fucking Denethor in a movie.
Yeah. Bad dye job and all.
You know, and some of the other performances I think are okay. Like, I was surprised at the quality of the acting in this movie throughout.
Yeah.
I think the kid who plays Arnie's good.
Yep.
But yeah, it's not scary. It's not fun. The scares aren't particularly well constructed or interesting. I don't need a horror movie to be scary. I need a horror movie to be interesting, and this one just isn't.
Yeah.
At any point. And the Warrens are pieces of shit grifters, and I am sort of offended that someone decided to turn that into a goofy horror movie that isn't even goofy.
Yeah.
I wish this movie had the balls to be
It should have
more
been
stupid.
It should have been more stupid.
Yeah. And instead it's just kind of bland and uninteresting.
Yeah.
And while I can watch that first one and be like, okay, I can see what they're going for here. This doesn't particularly work for me. I think there are other movies that do this way better. This one is just like fucking dead on arrival, basically.
Yeah.
Justice is The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, the greatest movie ever made.
David, no, it isn't.
Good, because I would have killed you with this microphone stand if you said yes, even as a joke.
No. Like, I believe in sort of the integrity of the greatest movie ever made, stamp of approval on this podcast. And even when I reward it for something that maybe doesn't quote unquote deserve it, like a Zardoz, I feel like I have a rationale behind it. There's no universe in which I could get there on this movie. Here's the thing. I like this movie. Like I said before, this is my favorite of the first 3 Conjuring movies to watch. The reason for that is because I find this movie sort of charmingly inept, you know? Like, I sort of like how it is trying to do the scary movie thing and the mystery thriller thing and the courtroom procedural thing, and just kind of biffing all of the things that it's trying, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of,
I think if it biffed those things harder,
yeah,
I would have had more fun with it.
And I sort of passively enjoy this movie. This is not a movie that I'm like hooting and hollering and smacking the arm of my couch because I'm having such a good time watching this bad movie. This is sort of a bad movie that I'll just throw on and just kind of like chill out with, you know? And like maybe I take a little snooze. And maybe I get some chores done and don't pay full attention.
It's a perfect movie to like cook too.
Yeah. Big time. And like, I appreciate this movie for just being the sort of like vibes and ambiance that I can like comfortably hang out in on a lazy Saturday afternoon. But like, it's bad. This movie's bad. It's not good. And while I am charmed by it, I am also very aware of all of its flaws, and basically everything you said I completely 100% agree with. I think the performances are pretty good in this movie, and I think almost everything else other than like the set design and costumes and stuff is pretty lackluster. I think the script is quite bad. I think that the way that the movie is kind of unable to adhere to a narrative focus is pretty laughable, and the scares are just not there. Like, this is a horror movie, and it is not scary at all, which is like a problem. But you know, it's like, it's my shitty little movie that I like going back to every once in a while, and I appreciate it on that level. But like, no, like, this movie sucks.
We all have our shitty little movies, and I'm glad that this is yours, I guess.
Yeah.
Someone deserves, or someone deserves to love The Conjuring 3.
Yeah, and I love
in its own way.
I love it in the way that I love, the bag of salt and vinegar potato chips that I got from the gas station this week. That was a bad bag. It was a bad bag. Some of the chips were soft, which was fucked up, and then like the seasoning was like not very well distributed.
Yeah.
So some of the chips were kind of bland.
Like you could have just gone to the grocery store and bought the good stuff and probably paid the same price.
And honestly, throwing that bag of chips away and not eating it, and just saving myself the calories probably would have been the correct choice. But I ate that bag of chips anyway because I was like, shitty salt and vinegar chips are still salt and vinegar chips, And like that's sort of how I feel about this movie, right? Anytime I start watching this thing, I'm like, yeah, this thing sucks. I'm in it though. That's The Conjuring the Devil
That's
made
The
me do.
Conjuring the Devil made me do it. We're not the devil, but we're going to make you tell your friends about the podcast.
That's right.
And visit our social media on Instagram and TikTok and spread the word about the show.
Yep.
Thank you to ET for our research and social media. And welcome back once again. We're really happy to have you back on the show. Next week, we are keeping the Horrorthon going.
Rolling.
This is another one of your picks.
Yeah.
This is Scream 3.
Yes.
Directed by Wes Craven.
Will the duds keep coming, or are we in for a treat? Find out next week.
It's fucked up that that's going to be our first Wes Craven movie.
Scream 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. It does feel a little bit like pissing on that guy's grave. Sorry about it, Wes.
But
Big fan.
He did make that movie.
He did make that movie. He also made a lot of movies that are much better. But we're not going to be talking about those. We're going to be talking about Scream 3.
So join us next week with Nev Campbell and Ghostface and Jay and Silent Bob for some reason.
Bet your ass.
For Scream 3. And until then,
later dipshits. We hope you enjoyed this episode of The Greatest Movie Ever Made. Please remember to leave us a rating and a review, and to subscribe to the show wherever you listen. We appreciate you supporting the show and spreading the word. Tell your friends to listen, tell your enemies to listen, tell your mom to listen. If your neighbor has an unsecured Bluetooth speaker, connect to it and play an episode. You can follow us on social media at TGMEM_podcast. And if you've got a movie that you want us to talk about, send us an email at thegreatestmoviepodcast@gmail.com.